You'll recognise the eyes. You'll know the cheekbones. She's been a swinging 60s sex kitten, a tragic art house heroine, a Hollywood vamp, and recently a muse for young French directors. For 40 years, Charlotte Rampling has offered a rare combination of sexual allure and emotional depth. Woody Allen cast her as his perfect woman. Dirk Bogarde was transfixed by her gaze. For me, she's the first woman I can distinctly remember seeing naked. Blessed with an uncanny beauty, Rampling has been happy to exploit her natural gifts, but somehow she always seems in charge.
'Cause everybody knows.
There's a famous still picture of you by Helmut Newton, which I think is called Charlotte Rampling in the Hotel du Nord, which is you sitting on a table with a cigarette and a glass of wine, and you're naked and you're looking over your shoulder. Now, how did that make you feel?
What was interesting in that, because Helmut Newton then went on to do an enormous amount of nude photography, but it was his first nude and it was my first nude. There's no exploitation in it. It's just about being. And I happen to be naked.
Is that what the photograph is to you? Because I'm very interested, because to me, I remember seeing it, probably when I was too young for such things, and it was really unnerving.
Was it?
Yeah. Why would that have been?
Well, I'd like to ask you why. I don't know.
Well, I think it's unnerving because precisely you are not a naked woman like most naked women are seen. You're telling me I can't really look.
Yeah. Messages are much more full-on now. Mystery is something which has sort of gone out the window a bit.
What's your attitude to your own beauty? Did you know you were beautiful?
No, I didn't know, actually, until people really started to tell me.
Am I all right? Sensational. Am I all right? Sensational!
From way early on, when I read all the books and I read all the sort of what Hollywood can do to people and how you can be completely, you know, destroyed by the image of yourself and falling into the narcissistic pool.
Oh, that's interesting. So you were aware that your beauty could actually trip you up?
Yes, because people are so troubled by beauty. I felt such danger in that, that I guess I just said, all right, I'm just not going to sort of think about it or address it and just sort of not pay attention to it.
The rest of us, of course, could hardly look away. But for Rampling, the roles she was offered after her breakthrough in Georgie Girl were never going to satisfy her. There was always just a bit too much going on behind those extraordinary eyes.
But what'll I say? What'll I do?
Keep him happy.
The roles that were offered to me after that were sort of Dolly Bird roles, or they were just sort of accompanying the man in the film, and this suddenly didn't have any... This just didn't interest me. That's why I went to Europe, because more psychologically interesting roles came from Europe.
Psychologically interesting is a bit of an understatement when it comes to The Night Porter, the controversial film that made her name. Typically, her character is sexually mysterious and emotionally troubled. The film features one of the great Rampling gazes, when her concentration camp survivor sets eyes on her former Nazi captor in the lobby of a Viennese hotel. The film then tells the story of their passionate affair, a jaw-droppingly audacious role. What drove you to take it? Because surely it's a risk. I mean, you must have swallowed hard. Or...
Yes, but the choice of subjects is a very intimate, very passionate thing. It's about desire. The important roles that I've had have all had the same theme. It's about psychological complexity, and it's about being broken and perhaps being able to rebuild. It's about daring to show human failure and the human condition, perhaps in not a very, you know, flattering or valorizing way, but it's daring to show how people are.
Of course, a willingness to bare the soul has often been matched in Rampling's films by a baring of the body, too. Its most famous scene, I suppose, is where you dance topless in an SS uniform, singing cabaret to German officers.
The first scene I did in Night Porter was that scene.
So you were
thrown,
straight into sort of wearing braces, an SS cap.
Singing an old Marlena song and doing that scene.
Tell me your dream.
It's a scene that has seeped into pop culture, such a visual shorthand for sexual taboo busting that Madonna paid homage in her banned video for Justify My Love.
Madonna wanted Dirk to go and do a show with him, you know, with the braces and the hat.
So Dirk Bogarde, as seen in The Night Porter...
She actually contacted Dirk Bogarde, yeah.
What did he say?
Well, he's a gentleman, so I won't say
In recent years, Rampling's brand of sexually confident characters with troubled depths has found a new audience in France, with a succession of leading roles unimaginable in Hollywood. What is the problem with Hollywood, that a woman ceases to be sexual and ceases to be given interesting roles beyond a certain age, beyond 35
I mean, there are roles for women of a certain age in America, but there is a kind of fatwa that went out and still is there, that they feel that sexuality in films is only bankable when the sexuality is very young. And unfortunately, if it's only young people, then older people are going to be excluded from a lot of films because, you know, they're saying, well, look, I'm in my 40s and my 50s and I'm still feeling great. You know, why aren't the films talking about us, talking about women of that age? But in Europe, we do that.
The latest example of late-period Rampling is Heading South, about middle-aged women enjoying sex tourism with young men in Haiti. Again, it's a tough subject and a strong central character.
What interested me about the subject was this incredible paradox of how seemingly together women, good-looking women, can be in such emotional misery and can find nothing to satisfy them. Have they just sent men packing? What have they done? Why are women of that age group? And believe me, there are many. This is not a story. This is not fiction. This is about reality. I'm going to let you in on something. I'm crazy about love. Sex and love. I'm not really sure anymore. I always told myself that when I'm old, I'd pay young men to love me. I just didn't think it was going to happen so fast.
Why are you so attracted to difficult subjects, awkward, complex characters, often taboo subjects as well? Seems to be a drive in you towards that. Do you know why?
No, I don't.
But you enjoy doing it?
Enjoying's not the word, but I have to do it. When I choose a role, it does correspond to something that I'm going through at that time, or something that I have gone through, or something that has sort of a calling. I mean, it's not even in analytical terms. It's something that actually just sort of hits me there and makes sense, and I want to express it.